You want me to hit
Yeah,
record?
you can hit it. Alright, we're good. So hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, well tell me a little bit about what's going on since last time we spoke about everything.
I kind of have found that the way that I can deal with all the stress in my household is just to start drinking again.
Start drinking again, okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you've kind of picked up a drinking habit?
Yeah, I've noticed that a couple of glasses of wine a few times a day, and I don't really care what they do.
Okay, and what has been leading to the drinking?
I've been so stressed out with trying to balance work and school and family, that I didn't know what to do. And on my way home from work one night, I just stopped and had a couple of drinks, and I went home, and no one stressed me out. So ever since then, I've just decided that that's how I'll deal with it.
Okay, so you're saying that you've been stressed lately and kind of overwhelmed with school, work, and kids, and you're kind of relieving that stress with alcohol? Am I getting that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so when you say relieving with alcohol, is it like, are you just drinking, are you getting intoxicated, are you blacking out? Like, tell me more about this alcohol when you say drinking.
I mean, all I have is a couple drinks, but I mean, I do that like 4 or 5 times a day, and I don't really remember what happened yesterday, so. But I don't think I have a problem. It's just a way I've found to relieve my stress.
Is your drinking increasing?
Yeah. Yeah, since I can't remember yesterday, I think I must have drank a whole lot.
That tends to happen when, you consume a lot of alcohol, so you're saying that in other words, you kind of blacked out when you drank. Is that?
I think I did, yes.
Okay, yeah. So how has that, been affecting your outside life, with, maybe waking up early in the morning and, having to go to work, being hungover, I think, sometimes can be very hard to deal with in the morning.
I mean, it hasn't really affected me because I just get up and have a couple of drinks before I go to work. And, I mean, it might affect other people around me, but it hasn't bothered me any.
Okay, so you said you're drinking a little bit before work?
Yes.
Okay. And how much would you say? A shot, a beer, glass of wine?
A couple glasses of wine.
Okay, that's, I understand. And actually, to be honest with you, I am a recovering alcoholic. I have about 7 days clean time, so I can understand how that stress and wanting to relieve your problems with alcohol can seem like the right path. I definitely understand that. What other, I understand, is that being in a position, that seems like a quick fix, way to deal with the stress, overwhelm, the anxiety. Have you ever maybe thought of trying another path, or maybe channeling on what is stressing you out and working on it on that level to avoid getting to where the stress takes you to drinking?
I mean, the only other path I've tried to deal with stress is drugs, and that really didn't work out for me very well. And so that's why I thought this time I would just try drinking.
Were you addicted to drugs, or just recreationally using?
I was very addicted to drugs.
Have you ever thought maybe you're kind of substituting one for the other?
Yes.
Has that ever been a thought?
Yes.
That could be just as dangerous sometimes as well.
Yes, because I noticed that, like, even though I haven't really had any consequences yet from drinking, I'm sure that, I don't know what they might be, but they're gonna come.
Okay, so you're saying that you've had prior experiences with drugs, you haven't really had any negative consequences from drinking yet, but you think that if it continues that it could lead to some type of problems. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes.
So do you want to avoid the problems before they come, or what do you want to get out? Do you want to stop drinking altogether, or is it the stress that you want to cut out specifically, or do you not feel like you want to quit drinking at all, or just want to keep?
I mean, I feel like I should quit drinking because with being a drug addict, I know that I shouldn't substitute alcohol for drugs, cause it's the same thing, it's avoiding reality, but I haven't really convinced myself to stop because I can't really see any kind of negative consequences coming out of my drinking.
Okay, you said that you can't really see any negative consequences come out of your drinking, but you did say you were blacked out and don't remember the night before, so possibly who knows what you could have done while you're blacked out drinking. I feel like that could be a consequences that you might be overlooking. Like,
Yes, I guess that is true.
okay, do you maybe think that drinking is more like a cultural thing? Like, did you grow up around a lot of drinking parents, a lot of drinking friends? Is it something where you just picked up on your own?
I grew up, my parents didn't drink, but like all my brothers and sisters did, all my friends did. I just kind of skipped over that to drugs, so I never really had time for drinking before, and like I'm just now discovering it. But I know it's probably not the right path to take.
So what is drinking in your family? Has it caused any type of turmoil? Do they know that you're starting to think drinking is a problem? Do they see you drink? Or how do you think drinking in your family kind of correlate at all?
I try to hide it from them. I don't drink in front of them. I'll like keep a bottle, in a different room or downstairs in the basement where the washer and dryer is. But I don't think I'm fooling them. I think that they know and they're just not saying anything because they don't want to upset me, or
Yeah.
I know it affects them though, because we haven't went out and done anything this week, because I'm not gonna put them in the car and drive them anywhere when I've been drinking, so, it affects them.
So you're saying that you know it affects them, you just don't think they're bringing it to light yet, they're kind of just overlooking it, is that correct?
Right.
Okay. So you're basically saying the main problem is drinking, but it hasn't became a dilemma yet to where it's caused, just a catastrophe, but you want to avoid it from being that catastrophe. Is that
Right.
fair to say? So what does getting clean or getting drink-free actually mean to you? Like, what does that mean to you personally?
Like I really value being sober and clear-headed. That's why I quit doing drugs, and I know that like I would feel a lot better about myself if I could cope with my stress that goes on in my life without drinking.
Okay. What's your belief on occasional drinking and, where it's becoming, an issue? Do you believe you can drink, socially and have it be a problem, or do you believe that it's something that you just don't want to mess with at all?
No, I believe I probably need to quit altogether because like I was never able to do drugs like the people I grew up with. Like they could try them one time and never do them again. With me, anything I did, it was
Really? Yeah.
off to the races and didn't stop until I ended up in jail or in a treatment center, in a hospital. So probably I should quit drinking.
Yeah, so you're basically saying it's full throttle when you do. When you go all the way.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand. That's how I was. I didn't want to go a little bit. If I wanted to either go hard or go home,
Yes.
And I didn't like being at home, so it was
Yeah.
the going part. Okay, so what what things do you think you could do, if lifestyle wise a change that could, help, nip this problem in the bud? Like, have you ever considered maybe new friend, maybe even going to AAs or anything like that?
I thought, I used to go to AA, when I was early in recovery from drugs, and I guess I could go back, and that used to help me deal with my stress a lot too, because there's a lot of people who understood me there. So that's probably a good idea.
I mean, that's really good that you have this information already known and you really know what's going on. That's really great, because a lot of people, the whole problem is getting them to realize and see what's going on and working. So that's a very good, positive strength you have for yourself to know exactly what it is needs to be done and what the problem is. Because as I said, if you look at some of the consequences of drinking, there's DUIs, which are real expensive. There is, you can have open containers. bar fights, from drinking, there's a lot, you even drink yourself to death, so there's a lot of things that you wanna be careful about when you do get involved in that drinking. I'm trying to think of ways to maybe like look at things from, other angles, maybe when you wanna get a drink, think like maybe that instead of drinking, maybe, or even channeling your stress, maybe thinking like, okay, maybe I'm not as stressed as I think I am, instead I'm gonna go to the coffee shop. You ever thought maybe getting a glass of coffee instead of a drink, or even apple juice?
I could try it. I mean, I'm willing to try anything, cause I know that this is going nowhere good if I keep drinking. So that's things I could try.
Okay, and that's real good way to think about it, and be open to trying new things. Another thing that's hard to get people to open up about new things and want to even accept that. A lot of people shut down, like, I'm not trying that, I'm not doing that. It's not gonna happen. But that's good, and what I really wanna do is try to figure out something where I can hope that we can come up with that will help us get to the goal, which in the end, you said, what was your main goal that you wanted to achieve from us working with each other?
Stress management without using alcohol to cope.
Okay. I'm actually, it's before the drugs and before the alcohol, even go back to teen years, what would you do to deal with that stress whenever that stress arrived?
Yeah, I was really involved like in hobbies and activities back when I was a teenager. I mean, I started getting high when I was 13, but before that, like I did cheerleading, softball. I would read a lot. So it's like I filled my time up back then, and then once I found drugs, like I quit doing all that stuff.
Well, that's good. Those are really good ways to deal with stress. And if you ever are stressed and you deal with and you use reading, cheerleading, things like that, only good things can happen from that. It's great cardio, it's great, mind relief from reading, great exercise. Those are all very great things that you could do. So what I want to maybe think about doing is, by next day, I usually see you once a week. I think we should, next time we meet, I want you to write down on a piece of paper maybe 10 things that I want you to do this, 5 things that you used to do to deal with stress before, without using alcohol or drugs, and 5 new things you want to try that sound good to, go over and deal with the stress and things like that. Does that sound like something that can be an obtainable goal by the next time that we meet?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, that sounds good. So just, to get everything, summed up to make sure we're on the same page and, build that report. From what you said, stress at home and with work and school has been kind of building up to a point where, you just kind of felt that drinking is the way to solve it, but you didn't want to go back to drugs because you went down that road before. So you kind of feel that drinking is a safer way to go deal with your stress, but at the same time, it's starting to be something where you're like, okay, I don't want to push this envelope too much before something happens that is irreversible or has a lot of hardships on it, that could affect your family, as you said, and, your kids and stuff like that. Is that basically where we're looking?
Yes.
Okay, so, and then we're gonna do a homework of the 5 things you used to do when you were stressed and the 5 things you would like to try when you're stressed. So that sounds like something we'd like to end on that sounds attainable for both of us to get.
Yes, I can do that for next week.
All right, that's good. Well, I'll see you next week, and don't forget to pay the man up front, okay?
All right, thank
All
you.
right, yeah, I think my video shut off too. Yeah, it's like on a screen.